Oops, oopsie daisy. The boys are back, just unmuting themselves. I didn't want that music to stop it, guys. I was enjoying that.
Mate, I was in it. I was in the vibe.
Who was the selector? Was it one of my mixtapes or was it one of your guys' mixtapes? Big up one of the producers, Tyrone, with that little mix there. That was great. Welcoming everybody to Set the Trend podcast live on Facebook and also on YouTube. Set the Trend podcast. That's all you got to type in. It's not that difficult. Just get on there, send it to your friends. If they're on Facebook or whether they're off Facebook, just go onto YouTube and just have a listen and see what we're about. Anyway, it's great to see you lot here. Good to see everybody is here, ready for one of the biggest topics of the lockdown that we're going to have, especially if last week was anything to go by. We had the top 5 slow jams. It was hard work, mate.
A little bit chaotic.
It was hard work. it was hard work last week, and this week I think when we're looking at the top 5 Rare Groove tracks, I think it's going to be as difficult. EastEnder? Sorry, did I not introduce my guest? I've been talking. Reggie Heavy Styles in his Arsenal top. How are you, sir?
Yeah, we've got the old Cup Winners' Cup jersey special. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's that? Is that a Rare Groove one?
Yeah, it is. That's why I got it. That's why I wore it for today. To say, we've got the certain guests here, so that's why. Yeah, no. This whole Rare Groove thing is going to be so interesting, mate. It's going to be a really interesting one. I am looking forward to it. I cannot wait to hear some of the suggestions and get to the top 5, especially after last week. So,
and Mr. Wicked Man EastEnder is here. Are you going to be wicked this week? Are we going to get? Are we going to get you scrutinizing every Rare Groove tune?
I'm going to be honest. It might be a bit harsh, a bit hard, but I'm going to be honest.
I think we're going to hear more from EastEnder today than we have in the last year.
I think you might be right there.
And his subject is, his chosen subject is
exactly
Rare Groove. Right, so here what we're going to be doing. Right, so what we've done. So just so the crowd know what we've done. Welcome to all of you who are on Facebook right now, joining in. Welcome to you all on YouTube that have joined in. We're going to kind of take you through our mechanism for voting and what we're going to be, and how we're going to be voting and how we're going to score. So the scoring chart is going to be transparent for you to see how we got there. And I'm sure by the end of the night, we'll still be friends. So we're talking about, I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about us and the public. They might see us and say, "Oi, that wasn't right. You didn't include such and such in there." So there's a certain amount of latitude that we're going to have because we might not be perfect, but we're going to try. So this is the top 5 Rare Grooves we're going to try and whittle it down to. And of course, when we're talking about Rare Grooves, for us, as the street sounds, is there somebody else in there doing something? Anyway, as the street sounds, we're talking about music that we grew on, that was probably started by the likes of Funkadelic, Rap Attack. You're talking about Norman Jay's in there, he's in the conversation. We're talking about
Barry Sharp.
Pardon?
Barry Sharp.
Barry Sharp. We're also talking about Desi G, Barry White. We're talking about Touch of Class. We're talking about GQ. We're talking about Special Edition. Cass from Manhattan. We're talking about GQ. We're talking about a whole range of brothers. I mean, the list is just endless of the sounds that was there back in the day. Is that me making that noise?
Can't hear anything.
Oh, that's all right then. So the list is endless of sounds that was there back in the days that we grew up on, and hence why we got here. Just Good Friends, Street Life. The list is
endless.
It is just endless. And if I've forgotten your name, of course, Godfather Mystery. See, we didn't mention Dirty Den. We haven't mentioned Company Soul Sound. There is a long list of sounds that we grew on that was party to this business, and not to mention some of the pirate radio stations at the time that helped also lift the genre to its popular status in the culture. And record shops. Let's not forget the record shops, the people who were selling the music at the time. There was a load of record shops up and down London. There was a load of collectors that was going up and down London to also help define that groove. Who else was there? West London. Sorry, what was the gentleman
Special Edition.
I mentioned Special Edition. No, mate, not the gentleman that you would have blown up with.
Fresh Beat.
Fresh Beat. You see, there's sounds there. There's just so much sounds that just come back to our minds and to our recollection that was there, and we can't remember all of them. And if I missed out any, I do apologize. But I do know Chris Sweeney, Winner Roadshow. You know what I mean? They just keep coming. So
I'm sure everyone will get a name check
somewhere
to the scene.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what we have is a matrix. So we have a scoring matrix. We asked people to vote in throughout the week, and we had 90 we've got 91 tunes that we have, 91 songs from you all. We're going to go through some of them.
Insane amount, mate.
And our producers have whittled them down to 10. And there's 10 songs that we're going to try and get into the top 5 before the night is over. Throughout the night, we've got a scoring mechanism for it. So let me just go through the scoring mechanism before I tell you what we're going to be doing throughout the night. So we've got 5. If we mark it a 5, 5 is the top score, and you can only get 5 if it's 5 is for mass popularity. So that was one of the that was one of the criteria for us creating this scoring chart. So mass popularity is 5, and I think that speaks for itself in terms of how big it was. The exposure is number 4. So how was you exposed to this to the tune? 3 points if it was if it's an influencer, and I'm gonna come back to you on that one. 2 is the longevity of the tune. How long has the tune lasted? Has it, is it a song that gets played consistently from back in the day till now? And 1 point for commercial value. So how much is that tune now worth? All right, does that sound?
Yeah, it's clear to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back for our notes, because we've got some notes about the weighting. In fact, if my producers can just clear it up, just make sure that I've said everything that I should do. If not, can you please give me a message? Even though I'm not on the Zoom that I should be on, but if you can put it into the group, please. I want to make sure that I get it right. And throughout, we've got our guests. We've got about 6 guests tonight for you.
Oh, wow.
3 of them have been advertised, 3 haven't. One of them is a member of the Raving Scene. She said she volunteered and said, yes, I want to come on and I want to share my top 5 with you all. So she's going to do that as well. And we'll be speaking to her later on. That young lady is Tasha Minion. We also have Young Star from Eternity that will be coming on to talk. And of course, he is one of the people who have been at the forefront of bringing Rare Groove back to popular with his Rare Groove Clash that he has down here in South London. And also we have our guest, I forgot the gentleman's name, Reggie?
Michael Speaks.
And he's a collector.
Record collector, and he's I call him the Master Mason of music.
Master Mason of music.
The Master Mason.
Yeah. That is a big title to give somebody, mate. Yeah. You do know that, though, right?
Yeah, he's your go-to man.
He's a G. He's a G.
Yeah, okay. Well, we will see that. And I hope we can all be G's tonight, because otherwise it'd be very embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, we have our guests to talk to tonight, and we have 3 guests that we're going to talk to tonight. So before I bring them on, I'm just going to make sure that I name check them correctly for you. Tricky Nicky from over West London. One of the I don't know how to describe him that does him justice, but he's a phenomenal record collector. He's been collecting beats from back in the day. He's also a selector. He has his own sound system that he plays. He's going to tell us more about that when he comes on. Also, we have Paul Canaval, aka Caners. He will be coming up and talking about that. And of course, Paul Canaval was in GQ back in the day.
Yeah.
And from the MC point, because we couldn't leave out an MC, so we had to go for the MC, the #1 Rare Groove MC of all time, the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody. I don't think there's anybody that can match him. I mean, he's been here. He's been there from middle '80s, and he's still here now. And you can still catch him out drinking a brandy or 2 and chatting the lyrics. And that is Barry White from the Bad Boys, the Godfather MC. He will be in the building. But first, East, who we got up first?
We should have Tricky Nicky, hopefully. Let's see if he's on. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Good evening, chaps.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
It's tricky. He's going through the notes already. You can tell.
Very well. I was just working up on my notes, Reggie.
Yeah.
How are you?
Better than us, mate.
Well, first of all, congratulations for you getting through to your competition.
Thank you
today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, I thought we was going to talk about Rare Groove, but I'm going to start off by saying, I didn't know you had that armory in you yesterday.
What do you mean, as in the outfit or the tunes?
No, musically. I know you're passionate about Rare Groove, but it seems like you was passionate about Revival as well.
Yeah, well, you know what, Mike? That's the kind of that's what I was brought up in before I actually fell in love with Rare Groove. I think the first record I ever bought was a Lovers Rock record, actually, back in 1981 when I had some pocket money. I was still at school then, so that's before I found my passion, which is obviously Rare Groove.
Now, the last time we spoke about Rare Groove, me and Ray, we was actually on your radio show over on Unique on a Sunday.
Indeed. That was a very, very good, a very lively conversation.
And you remember that, Ray?
I do, well, indeed. Yeah, I do. We were trying to define Rare Groove, wasn't we?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think on our platform, for our audience, I think, one of the first questions I like to ask you is, how do you define Rare Groove from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, I've always looked at Rare Groove as obscure music, things like that are not your regular tracks. They're things that you don't hear in the mainstream radio, for one. Also, things that are hard to source, in terms of like availability.
Yeah.
Also, things that are maybe a limited edition, rare in terms of availability, maybe only a few copies printed. And that's how I kind of, and also I think it's got to have, I think we had this conversation before where I think it's got to have that kind of feel. There's a lot of people that sort of, they mistake soul music for Rare Groove, but I don't think they're one of the same.
Interesting. I think, we're going to cover that conversation a little bit deeper down inside.
Yes.
My opinion on that is slightly different, but
yes, I know that's why I mentioned it, Mike.
Who's us? And our second guest, right?
Yeah, right. Our second guest. I've never interviewed this gentleman properly, but he's due to come up and set the trend. He is, I think he's I would describe him as our first superstar. And the reason why I'd say that, because even though you have Rare Groove, you also have people who really have a presence, who really, for some way and some kind of definition, they are defined as someone who brings something different to the genre of Rare Groove. And this gentleman did. Can you bring in Paul Carnival, please, from Casual Affair, GQ, ex-Chelsea footballer in the building. Caners. Listen, when I say you were Chelsea's first black footballer when you were when you was doing the dances, how did you do that, Paul?
Quite easy. You know how it was for me. Music was a release to let my head down after football. From the weekend, it was Monday to Friday training. Saturdays either playing away or playing at home, and then after that, it was look forward to a party, look forward to a dance, and shock out. So
and of course, one of the reasons why it was a release was because. And that's not to go on it, because I know it's in your book and I know it's well documented, but it was, of course, a release from getting the abuse, the racism at the time. Being Chelsea's first black player, that must have played with your mental. You're supposed to be on there. You're supposed to be scoring goals. You're supposed to be winning. You're all together, fans, players, and everything. And yet you're getting this abuse from the stands, from like your own supporters for doing the right thing. And then you kind of come away from there. I mean, how did that feel? I mean, mentally for you?
Well, mental well-being wasn't a confident booster. I always thought that whilst playing, I had to play as twice as better than my teammates just to be accepted. But yeah, being at home, playing at home, it wasn't a case that I'd left straight away. I waited around for at least 2-3 hours just to feel that it was safe for me to travel. Yeah, it was scary times back then in the 80s, definitely. And when I did, it was like, yeah, Paul, where we at? It was Bernard, yeah, we're out tonight, cool, get ready. And you know how it was when you get ready.
Yeah, right, so explain that to me. Now, you lot were known as some sharp dressers. You know what I mean? So,
you know what?
And of course,
you were the rumor there, guy. You know what?
Paul, come on, because that was part of the culture back then, wasn't it?
It certainly was. If you're going out, you went out and you dressed to impress. And I think that's what me and I would say me and Bernard and Viber did. And don't get me wrong, you don't call Bernard for nothing, because Bernard did play the tunes. He could play from afternoon right for tonight through to the next day. And we loved that. But don't get me wrong, it was about, you know what, the attire, shirt and tie, suit, ready, we're going and rev.
Was that like the lizard king skin shoes and
the crocodile shoes going out? That's a money boot there. Remember Grant was out and all them shoes, don't get me wrong. I remember it was the first time when I got my first wages from Chelsea. You can imagine I was at 21, 22. And picked up my wages at the end of the month, and it was like, gosh, I want to go shopping. Now, you know what? Before that, I usually go, don't get me wrong, I'm not proud to say, I'm not too shy to say, I used to go market and everything. But this time now, some wages hit my pocket. I went to Harrods. First time.
The more you earn is the more you spend, yeah?
Yeah, bro. I went in Harrods and bought the living leather jacket with the fox fur around the corner. And let me tell you something. I must have got the wear out of that because I wore that nearly every day. Yes. So after that, I went, no, Paul, don't go. You know, man, don't take it too far. Yeah, so take your time.
Musically, you used to select as well in GQ, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, there were certain times early. You know how it was. It's at that period, isn't it? If you was on early, you play the early stuff, and I used to play the early stuff. And then we'd I'd come around, and then Viber would take it, because Viber was back in the day was Casual Affair. Mm-hmm. It was only till we caught up that we decided, because I always used to play out with Bernard then, with another sound. It was called Reflections. That time we used to play with Sir George Stanley Downs Road, but linked up with Viber, and it was a case of, you know what, loving the combination that we have. Let's name a sound. And it was by GQ. It was the Gentleman Quarterly magazine that we saw it, and it was the GQ album as well that we named it.
Now GQ. Stop there. I don't want you to say no more, because we want you to set the trends. Remember this, so I want you to bring it all out and set the trend in your hour special for us, please. So we've got Tricky Nicky, Paul Canaveral from GQ. Reggie?
And next, coming up, a guy who I've admired over the years of my aspirations of trying to be one of the great mic men in the scene, but then I obviously realized that it wasn't for me, and I didn't have the physical features to be on the microphone to make the girls go crazy. But alas, this guy is an absolute G, an absolute legend. One half of the duo of the legendary Desi G and Barry White, the Bad Boys, as Ray mentioned earlier. 40 years plus in the business. Hopefully, we should have him on. The legend, the Don, Mr. Barry White. Where is he? Is he in here? Where's Barry? He's not here yet. Mr. Barry White, how you doing, sir?
Good evening, everyone.
Look at that, you see? Way. He's got the voice. You can tell he's a mic man straight away. So, listen, I mean, you've been in a lot of gigs. You've done a lot of parties. From being a mic man, why did you decide to, or was it, well, actually, I think there was a story when we spoke to Skanker saying that he is the person who gave you your name as Barry White. Is that true or not?
Absolutely. Spot on.
Excellent. So why did you choose to do the mic thing rather than do the DJ thing?
Why do I do the mic thing?
Yeah.
So I'm not too bad at
it. we know that you are an absolute legend and you've got lyrics for days. What has been one of your kind of like highlight moments of being on the microphone in a Rare Groove dance? What is it that you find about Rare Groove that brings out the best lyrics and the best flow for somebody like yourself?
Number one, the type, that music itself, right, it's got volumes of feeling in it. And I could relate to the content of the singing with life itself. Like personally, some of the things what they're singing about, it's like, they're talking about me. I've lived that, I've been there, I've done that, you know what I mean? So I just relate to it. I just sort of like click with it.
So you basically build a lot of your lyricism based on the stories of the records themselves that are playing. Is it very much a off the cuff and you just make up the lyrics there, or do you pre-write your lyrics?
No, I don't pre-write. I don't practice. I just go out and just have a good time.
I hear that. Listen, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on, and just like everybody else, we're all looking forward to this Rare Groove discussion.
Okay.
Today. And I know we're all chomping at the bits to get into a lot of the Rare Groove records, and especially a lot of the people who are currently online in the chat room. Big up to you guys for submitting your top 5 Rare Groove tunes. Mr. Fifth Avenue.
And do remember that you can also keep putting in your top 5 tunes. You may not agree with what we're doing. I'm trying to see from our producers where's the top 10 that we're going to go down and talk about. We're down from 91, but I think what I'll do, I'll go through the 91 tune. I'll go through some of the 91 tunes here, and so let's look at that. So let's look at this.
What we got?
The Futures by Van Boten. That's the person who voted on that. Ain't Got No Time for Nothing, which is an iconic tune itself, The Futures. What memories does that bring back to you, Tricky Nicky?
Well, that was one of the first big Rare Grooves. It was around the time that Rare Groove was really kicking off. And for one of my inspirations, apart from Good Times, which was my first exposure to Rare Groove, but for one of my inspirations was Funkadelic Sound. And that was because they played that kind of funky, that they played the Roy Ayers, the kind of, those funky tunes that just got you. And that was one of the tunes that they played. Funny enough though, Ray, that Ain't Got Time for Nothing wasn't, it was fairly new to it. It's only a couple of years old, I believe, when it started to be played. Like many of the Rare Groove tunes, some of them were imports.
How important is the tempo in Rare Groove?
Very important, because obviously it's like Barry said, it's got to have that feel. You can listen to pop songs, you listen to reggae songs, and they've got a vibe about them. But a Rare Groove tune has got that feel that it's like it moves you automatically.
Okay.
Right. One of the other tunes that we've got in here that didn't make the top 10, funny enough, by reading of this. Would you remember of Karen Jones, Ready, Ready, Love, Paul?
Karen Jones, Ready, Ready, Love. Ooh.
Yeah. Didn't make the top 10. Didn't make the top 10, though.
It didn't make the top 10.
Didn't make the top 10, no.
No?
No.
It didn't?
Not by this, pal.
I think for us, that was a tune that played regular with us down at GQ, especially when we started off down in East London. I basically think because we was more like a ladies' sound, not a ladies' basic sound, a ladies' entertainment. That tune when we played, you know, that was it.
I don't think there was a sound.
Entertain. That was what it was. It wasn't just to playing the tune because you had the tune. It was to entertain the people that was there. And mostly the indicator was the ladies that loved the tune. So with that tune coming back, who's playing in the background? That comes from, well, anyway. Yeah, we did basically, I love the tune. And Bernard, well, I call him Bernard, but we used to use Bernard. He come up with so many different tunes at that time. It was a list, definitely.
Okay, thanks for that, Paul. And another tune that didn't make the top 10, and I'm going to go to his namesake, Barry White, Early Years. What do you remember about that tune, Barry White? Didn't make the top 10.
Big tune.
You know what? The long and short of it is there's so many good tunes. Yeah? So many. And it doesn't surprise me that it didn't make the top 10 because there's so many quality tunes that will punch that one out.
All right then, so we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into some of these tunes that made the top. There's 91 of them. Can't go through them. We probably mention them throughout. We got lists. We're gonna ask the guests for some of their top 5 tunes. So we're gonna talk about this. So how are we gonna measure it? I'll go through that again for you guys. We have a scoring system.
Ooh. And
the scoring system goes. Let me just get the. Just bloody lost where it is.
I think it's by points, isn't it?
By points, yeah. I just lost something where it is. Hold on one sec. Okay. So for 5 points, we get the influencer. So if you think that this track was a track that really influenced the culture, give that track 5 points when we ask you about it. For exposure, for how it exposed and how it really got the culture, transcended the culture, and then that's the exposure, and that's at 4. 3, mass popularity, how popular the tune was. 2 is the commercial value of the tune. So how much is the tune worth now? Does that gets a 2 mark on it, I do believe, and also longevity, which is worth. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. Mass popularity 5, exposures 4, influential. The tune is number 3. The longevity of the tune is number 2, and the commercial value of the tune is number 1. So we're gonna have a good time with this tonight. So the first tune out of the top 10 that I want to go to, let me have a look at this and go down the list.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Maxi, I'm going to go to Reggie first, and I want your scoring on Maxi Anderson, Lover to Lover.
I will say exposure. I will give it a 4. Popularity, I'll give it a...
No. I just want from you, mass popularity is 5, exposure is 4, and influential tune is 3, longevity of the tune is 2, and the commercial value of the tune is 1.
So I'll give it...
So give me a score on the mass popularity of the tune.
4.
Tyrone, Reggie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. He's in deep thought on that one. It's not easy, is it, Reg?
Nah, it's not. 4 for mass popularity.
So you're giving it a 5. So it gets that. So you are saying the top mark that you're giving it for that is first.
Yeah.
Is the mass popularity, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 5. I hope someone's taking notes on this. I think our producers should, because they can tot it up at the end and they can come on live and give the top 5. How about that? So that
they
makes
can,
sure
they
that
can get the bullets. Yeah?
so they can get the bullets. Right. So
Don't want to be that guy.
Barry White, can I have your marks, please? Was it massively popular at 5? Was it the exposure at 4 for you for this tune? Was it very influential at 3? The longevity at 2, or the commercial value at 1? Barry.
Right. I like to have things clear. Commercial value, what do you mean by that?
How much is it worth? So has it gone up in price from then till now? Is it a hard to get tune?
Oh.
And we've got Tricky Nicky, and we also have our fact checkers checking how much that album is worth now as well. So
I've got a get out clause. I've got a get out clause. In my career, I've been very lucky to be working with some really good selectors. I mean, like, yeah. So I myself didn't have to go and spend no money on music. So when it comes to how much it actually costs, right, to get that in your kitting, to have it in your bag, to have it in your case, yeah, I don't have to worry about that, yeah.
So that one doesn't apply to you then?
Well, the album is currently retailing at about 17 to 20 quid.
Right.
That's on CD.
So Barry, I just want one of the marks for you. So is it mass popularity for you, which is 5? Is it the exposure of this tune? Is it influential, or is it longevity of this tune, or is it the commercial value of this tune that you're going to mark it off?
I will say longevity.
So that's 3. So producers, can we have 3 down for Barry White, please? Paul Cannavale, can we go to you, sir? On this tune, what is the most influential description of it for you? And can the music producer stop playing that in my ears because it sounds loud? Jesus. Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm
So which one does it for you? Is it that it was massively popular? Was it the exposure that it had? Was it that it very influential tune?
You know what?
Was it longevity, or is it the commercial value of the tune?
Mass popularity.
That's 5 for Canis. I'm going to get Tricky Nicky.
Okay. Well, it was massively popular, but the commercial value is still, it was back in the day I sought after album, you maybe in about 50, 60, 80 quid you could pay for it in its height. And even now, it's probably still, if you could find original vinyl, Reggie spoke about, Michael spoke about what it costs now, probably about 17, 20 pounds for the CD. The original album's probably going to cost you still around 40 quid, something like that, 50 quid maybe, you know. So it's still got commercial value, but I would say I'd agree with Paul and mass popularity.
Thank you.
It was a big tune.
Thank you, Tricky Nicky. Mr. Ray Groove Legend.
Hello, sir.
Can I have your vote, please?
I'm going to go for an influence. I'm going to give it 4 for one of the songs that kind of shaped the early street sound side of the Rare Groove. I think it's one of the songs that, you know, people coming into the scene at that stage, that was one of the songs that you would hear in the late dances, played by, you know, many sounds and across the radio platforms. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Well, it's a 3, so you're not giving it what you want. You're giving it what we want. Thank you. And for me, I am going to go with. I think I'll go with 5, mass popularity, because it was a very big tune. You couldn't go in the dance and you didn't hear that tune on the peak of it. So I'll go with that. So we've done one of them. So let's have your marks for. I think it's going to have to be Jones. John, hold on. No, Stephanie Mills, Keep Away Girls. I'm going to Reggie Styles. Can I have your marks for Keep Away Girls?
This one's all mine.
You can't sing though.
I'll go for Longevity.
Thank you. So that's a 5. No, that's a, sorry, Longevity is a 2.
2, yeah.
Okay. Tricky Nicky?
I would say it has got longevity. You don't really hear it that much these days. So I would go for Mass Popularity again. It was a big tune. It was a really big tune. You don't really hear it that much again.
That's a 5. Cadence? Paul?
I'd say I'll go with Influencer.
That's a 3.
It got reaction. It got reaction. When you came on, you got everybody moving, bobbing. So for me, yeah, it was a tune that when it did, it sparked. But then, you know what? There was other tunes that was above that. So yeah, I'd stay with Influencer.
Cool. Barry White?
I'll go with Mass Popularity.
5 for Barry White. EastEnder?
Influencer. Most definitely.
Influential, yeah? 3, yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'll go with a 3 as well. Mark me down for a 3.
Bloody hell, I'm the only one out there. The only one out.
You
It's not a competition, Reg. It's not a competition.
Right. It is a competition. It's a friendly competition. Friendly competition. Right. Another track here. EastEnder. Betty Wright, Smother Me.
Oh, shit.
Why you want to do that to me? Why you want to do that to me? I want to give that one. Yeah, I'm going to give that 4.
You're going to give what for Exposure? Yeah.
Exposure. One of the earlier groove anthems. I'm going to give it 4.
Barrington White?
I'm giving that a 5.
For Mass Popularity. That was one of your tracks back in the day, wasn't it? That was one of the ones that you know what I mean? Smother Me. Reggie?
Definitely Influence for me.
3. And you're stuffing your face on camera. Caners?
You see where I'm getting confused with Caners? Who's Caners?
Caners.
Canners.
Sorry.
That's what I think. It's somebody else you're talking to.
No. Canners.
Yeah, I'll go with Influencer.
That's 3.
On me, Betty.
Tricky Nicky.
I would say that this Smother Me was a definite influencer because it influenced a lot of women when they were singing it, and it's like, you know, if you wasn't smothering them with love, you was like, where's the next man?
You're a smooth guy, you know, Tricky. You're a smooth guy. You're a smooth guy, man.
Yeah, you're not gonna get man in trouble.
the 3 guests are all ladies, guys. You know, LTD Sound is full of ladies. He was full of ladies, and what do I need to say about that?
So it's just me, isn't it? It's just me. I'm gonna go with 3. It was a very influential tune. I loved it. It's one of the early tunes for me when I joined the Ray Groove scene. It was one of the ones that I really grew up on. It's the late great Betty Wright. So I will give it a 3. Right. At that point, I think my producer should be sending in We're going to break there for a minute. So that's 3 of them that we've done so far. In fact, we'll take another one. And producers, could you send me in one of the lists from our guests, please? Or one of the hosts. Right.
Can I give you my...
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. Cool. Oh, yeah, by the way, Mr. Canners. Big up,
Sorry.
Sir. Respect, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
He said that wearing his Arsenal shirt, Canners.
I know. I noticed it. That's why I'm trying to.
Can I just say, Frank Sinclair was a neighbour when I was growing up in
Was he? Good boy. Good lad. Good lad.
Right. So, Barry White, this tune. Oh no. No. Yes. Valentine Brothers, Lonely Nights.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's going to play, that's why I kept quiet.
He was waiting for the instrumental to come on, was he? You was waiting for that. To chat
Lyrics.
I was running some lyrics in my head. No, that is a... Ooh.
Emotional tunes, Barry.
Influential.
Influential, that's a 3. Tricky Nicky.
I'm going to go with Longevity on that one.
Leave on your phone then.
That's a 2. Miss Tasha's in the building. Can we mute her, please, for us, please? Thank you, producers. Tricky Nicky. Have I said Canners?
Canners.
Canners.
Yeah.
Paul Canners.
I'm getting confused when I hear Canners.
I just got him as someone who's always caning somebody down the wing. That's what I've got him as.
Because that was one of my top tunes as it goes, Valentine Lonely Nights. And to me, deep. Ooh. I'll go with Long.
Number 2. That's 2 he's got it down for. Reggie?
Mine's commercial value.
How much is that tune worth now?
God knows.
A tenner.
Well,
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
Not that expensive.
okay. Is there a reason why you said commercial value?
Because Barry White is the king, is the Don. You've got 2 Barry Whites. So you've got King and the Don. And that particular record for me is...
Lonely Nights.
It's economically expensive.
Reggie, come on.
Come on,
Reggie. Lonely Nights by the Valentine Brothers.
Not by Barry White, that one. Do you want to remark that one again, son?
Yeah. I was on the wrong bloody.
Because you're eating your stuff in your face with food. That's what happens. So
I'm going for on a serious note. I'll go for
on a serious note,
Longevity.
At 2, I'm going to put Valentine Brothers at, for me, for the mass appeal, I'm going to give it a 5. I actually love that tune. Every time it comes on, it's one of the tunes that I know all the lyrics to from start to finish. So yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've never thought you'd had a lonely night in your life, man.
Yeah, I'll give it
many of them, mate.
I'll give it a 5 as well for maximum exposure. The longevity on the song as well. It's like 35 years hearing it, and it still sounds as sweet today as it did when you first heard it. And of course, they're my friends, and I often bring them over to performance in the UK. So yeah, it's definitely I'll give it a 5 for that. Max.
Cool. Thank you. Right. I'm going to take one more before I go to some of the guests' top 5. And we're going to discuss that. We're doing it for time. Let's check the time. Right. I'm going to mark this tune first. Jeff Lorber, Think Back and Remember. Now, for me, I always remember that tune. I always used to hear it when I used to go to the mystery dances, my first set of dances, and Warehouse. And that was one of the favourites that was played by them. It came out it was an import that came out in 1986, 85, 86, I think. Tricky Nicky, Reggie can fact check the EastEnder. I'm sure there's 3 fact checkers on there for me. And it was a very influential tune. The melody, the bass line of that tune, it's kind of like a little 2-stepping kind of vibes in it. You know what I mean? And I absolutely love that tune. I'm going to give that a 4 for the exposure that it was at the time. Tricky Nicky?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Exposure. I mean, you could say it's longevity, but it doesn't really get played that often. When you hear it, it's like a novelty, and it's really good to hear it. But would love to hear it more. But yeah, I'd say exposure as well, Ray.
Our music producer loves getting in on the act there. Thank you very much for that.
He's got skills.
Barrington White. Hey, but this is one of yours. Barrington, in fact, this is one of the tunes that I do remember. I used to stand behind the boxes and listen to Barrington at his heights. And you think, but Gallo, this is one of your ones, isn't it? Not Barry White?
You're all right.
Okay.
For me, it's influential.
So that's a 3. Thank you. Mr. Cannibal.
It's like the 2, really, exposure and influential, but I've got to choose one. Yeah, I've got to go with influential as well. When it come on, you had to react. You had to move to it, you know what I mean? And I think it just got everybody. As you said, it doesn't play too often. And when it did, yeah, you got something out of that, most definitely.
Reggie Styles, this is, I'm going to say it again for you, just in case. Think back and remember Jeff Lorber.
Influential for me, definitely.
That's a 3.
One that I play on my show now and again, but definitely an influential record for me.
EastEnder?
Again, influential. One of the songs again that defines a lot of our street sounds, rare groove culture. So yeah, I'll give it a 3.
I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to ask you a question. This song did not make not even the top 10. I don't even think it made the top 50 in this poll. And I am surprised. So, Tricky Nicky, why do you think Body Fusion didn't make it? It didn't make it.
That's absolutely ridiculous. That's got to be in the top 5, straight off the bat.
Didn't make it.
Do you know what? Some records. Anyway, when you come to that,
I don't. Do you know what? For me, Ray, it was. If you talk about mass appeal, that it had it. Longevity, it had it. Exposure, it had it. Influence, it had it. What didn't commercial value? You couldn't get it for love or money when it first came out. It had it all.
The problem here? You see, the problem here is that we always talk about this top 100. You get me? And then we get consumed with it being the top 100, and then I think we lose respect for the record.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because we say, we shouldn't be playing it anymore. But as you just said, it is one of the most influential tunes. Every decade.
True.
Barry, I mean, Barry, it had an instrumental piece that you probably used to chat on right at the beginning.
I personally think it's the most recognised rare groove music, no matter what colour or race you are. Yeah, you recognise that tune. Don't care. That's for me anyway.
What does it bring back for you, Paul?
Definitely what you said. Every time you come running back into the room. And you pull up. Just it was always trust me. Every time.
Listen, guys, am I right? It used to be the last tune they used to play at Oasis on Friday.
Oh my God. The overtime, right back then.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was like mystery's key card, wasn't it? It's like the last thing you do is just leave you, and then everybody's like, play it again.
Yeah. That's what I said. Come back in the room. Stop that. Hold on.
So Mr. Rare Groove legend himself, he said that. Why do you think?
Yes.
Why do you think he didn't get any respect? And before I turn to you for an answer, if you're on Facebook now or you're on YouTube, I can see that some of you were on there.
Yeah, the comments are
Michael Girl's on there, Debbie's on there, Mr. Henry's on there. And if you're on Facebook, I can see there's a lot of people in the room. We want to know, why didn't you lot give the respect that we think was due to Starview and Body Fusion to be in your top Rare Groove 5? He didn't make the 10.
Valerie Davis on Facebook said, not in my top 5. Lorenz says, too much airplay. Body Fusion has been done to death, says Leroy. Precious says, overexposure. And this is exactly what I was going to say. This is the reason why it's probably not in the top 10. It's like I preempted it, and people have come out and said it.
So much.
But I think it should be in there. I think it should be in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the songs. Yes, I can understand. A lot of people are tired of it. A lot of people, you know, just like, I don't want to hear it. It's overplayed, but it's a staple song of what Rare Groove is.
Iconic.
You know, it's iconic. So, you know, and I think as panels and judges here, I think we might have got the power to overturn certain decisions.
Now,
I'll have to wait for.
Can I just say?
I'll have to wait for the producers to tell me if we have got a wild card. But we'll leave it there. But we will leave it there.
I would say it's anyway.
You would say what, Reggie? Come on, let's hear it.
I would say, on the consensus from the audience in particular, it is definitely a record that would be in some people's top 10 or top 15, but not top 5.
We're in top 10 mode at the moment.
I think top 10. I'll say yes, it would make it in the top 10.
Right. So that's one discussion to be had. Remember, these tunes that we're discussing was picked by you guys. We put out a poll on Set the Trend podcast on Facebook, and we asked for you to vote. We also did it on our pages, and we collated all the songs that you put in for your top 5 tunes, and this is how it came out. And Body Fusion did not come in there. I think there's maybe one person that mentioned it, which was Pierre Henry. He or she mentioned it.
It's in my top 5. It's,
right,
you know, it's foundation. It's groundbreaking. It's everything that that stands for Rare Groove.
According to Andrew D. Williams, Body Fusion original Starview LP going for £300.
Yeah, absolutely. Still got the value.
Right, so leave that there. I'm going to go to Barry White. Barry White submitted 5 of his top tunes, and I'm going to ask him about one of his top tunes. And if you can tell me what this tune means to you, Barry. Shoot for the Stars, Johnny Taylor.
Woo! Bruh.
I want you.
It just does. It's like fireworks going off. Yeah, it's like you got that. It just lifts you. It makes you feel happy. It takes you to a happy place. Long and short of it, it takes you to a happy place, and you've got to dance.
What about you've got to chat lyrics on that? Because there's 2 bits that you can chat lyrics to that, isn't there? Or is it just in the middle piece that you've got an instrumental piece that you can chat lyrics to, Barry?
You've got the first section, when he's warming you in, and then listen, you got the break when he stops singing,
Yes.
It's just I think it's a proper tune, proper Rare Groove tune for me anyway.
Have you got a favourite lyrics for that tune?
Yes, Touch Stick.
All right, let me tell you right now. Facts. I do not practice. Yeah, I go out. I leave it in God's hand. Number one, and the vibes just take me. When the spirit takes me, I just say what I'm saying. So sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying. Listen, if you think too much,
wait a minute. Is that after 2 brandies, Barry?
Or after 4?
Listen, trust
and
me.
Paul, get it right. You know, when you mean 2, you mean 2 bottles, yeah?
No. I didn't want to say it that far. You know?
No, listen. On the level, right? The tune is a tune. It's a tune. I believe if the vibes is in you, you don't really have to practice. It's just gonna hit you. The vibes from the music and the people. Yes, I work off the people more than sitting down and working on vibes. You know what I mean? I let them. I feed, they feed. It's a two-way thing. It's not just a one-way thing for me, anyway.
Right. So thanks for that. Now, before I go any further, we're going to bring in our first guest, who we was asking for guests to come live with us. We ask every week, and everybody's got on their yes, they're wicked in the chat, but when we ask them to come on live, they don't want to do that. Apart from this young lady. So can we bring Tasha Minion on, please? She's like one of you guys. She's a raver. Yeah. I don't know if she's a collector. Can we have a?
I was waiting for her. I just want to big up Anthony Brightly, who's in the chat as well. You got.
Hey, no.
Anthony Brightly.
No, yeah, but when you do, not only is it Sir Anthony Brightly, it's Sir George Sound.
Yeah.
One of the first to play body for
George Sound.
Right. Kanan.
Okay.
Canners.
Way back, bruv. When that boy was busting chewing down Don's Road, trust me, them kind of, when you talk about blues, watch out. We was playing there with me and Bernard, and I think it was Cass Manhattan was playing one time, and the dance by Cass was cancelled, and everybody came down to us with Sir George, and I tell you what, it was a roadblock. It was just unbelievable. Sir George Anthony's been going, so Sir, as you said, it's Sir. When I say to that man, Judge, he's been around, he's done his things, you can learn from him, and I've got enough respect for him. So yeah, big up for that.
Big up yourself, Anthony Brightly, one of my mentors as well, and he's a top guy. He is definitely a top guy. All the way in Antigua, should I say? Yeah. All the way in Antigua. Responsible for chimes, responsible for Phoebe's. And his old man used to run one of the top blues dances week in, week out up there in Eastern. Is it East London, isn't it? Or Shubbeans. Yeah. Shubbeans, as we used to call them.
Well, they can hear his full story on our Set the
Trend, and that's coming soon. So, welcome to our guest, Tasha Minion. Look, she's looking like a right old superstar there, isn't it? Hey,
hello, Tash. How we doing?
Hey, welcome. Welcome to Set the Trend Live.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to have you here. So, you was one of we sent out a call to action, and you was one of the brave souls that said, yes, I want to come and Set the Trend Live and just discuss some rare groove music. So what is your background? Did you used to go to the dances? Are you a collector?
I'm really a collector. I started quite young collecting. Never really raved, a bit shy, as most of you know. So I never really raved a lot. I was more of a homely girl. And I just used to play music in my house and used to collect a lot of music. I used to go to Red's Records and buy my vinyls. And the other record shop, which was on the front line there, what was his name again?
Not the one I used to work in, Supertone? Oh, Blacker Dreads, sorry.
Blacker Dreads, yeah, I used to go Blacker Dreads. And then closer to home, locally, I would go to Catford News. There was a gentleman in there that used to sell his vinyls, and he was really good in sort of showing me new music stuff.
So your early record collection, who kind of influenced you into buying your music?
It was a very close friend of mine. He passed away many years ago. He would have been about 60 now, but I was about 14 when he introduced me into rare groove.
Okay. And what was that introduction record?
Most of the stuff was surrounding like what I've picked today. The one that really sticks out is like the Ron Matlocks and things like that.
I can't forget about you. So tell us about that. So tell us about that tune, because that is another very iconic tune, which didn't make the list as it goes. But what memories does that bring back for you? Was you listening to the radio at the time? Was you influenced by any pirate radio at the time playing?
Yeah, there was. It wasn't so much pirate stations when I started listening to this music. It was more community focused. by the elders, because I grew up with a lot of older people around me that looked after me, and we was a very tight-knit community as well.
Okay, so what memories does Ron Matlock bring back to you then?
The memories of him is his voice, the arrangement of the song from the start to in the middle, in the end, his voice. It's like an angel, but it's also really sort of deep and dark as well. Really, I really do love that song.
And did you like the lyrics of that song?
Oh yeah, it's kind of deep. We don't want to get too personal on here.
No.
Quite deep.
But it's funny because most of the rare groups had that kind of meaning, had that kind of connection.
Very deep.
You find it was all about love. It was all about heartbreak and loving somebody. You know what I mean, at that time, and I think most of them. So I don't think we'd get in trouble for that. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Another one on your list. It's another iconic tune, and I'm not too sure if it made the top 10, but I'll go and have a look now. Milton Wright, Keep It Up.
Ooh, baby, now.
Yeah, I love it, but what is it actually about?
Barry.
Keep it up, baby.
No, Tricky Nicky.
It could be quite naughty.
What is it about? Tricky Nicky. What is Keep It Up, Milton Wright about?
If I tell you this, Ray, you probably wouldn't believe me, but I've never really listened to it that deeply. It's just got a good beat. It's got a good beat, catchy beat.
Yeah.
And it just says keep it up.
That's nice little get out clause there.
Canners.
You know, the only thing that done for me, it just kept me up. I don't know what to say. It was a tune that made, don't get me wrong, with me, music made me, as I said, let my head down. That's when I had hair, yeah? But I used to love to dance. And trust me, that was the mood that had my foot moving every time. You know what I mean? It's a beat that had you, yeah. And don't get me wrong, if a woman couldn't dance, then don't come to tapping my shoulder. Simple as. That was how it was with me. So, you know what I mean? A simple tune that kept me moving. I love them tune there, so definitely.
Another one of your ones that you've put in your top 5, and this tune, Mystery used to love this tune. Every time I used to hear Mystery playing this particular tune, it was one of his favourites. Linda Clifford and Runaway Love.
Runaway Love.
What memories does that bring back to you, Tasha?
My ex.
Yeah? You said we wasn't going to get deep. You said this. Go on, expose it. Why?
Now, right? Now.
Oh, okay.
Now.
No, I'm asking. She said the ex. Is that a good way? Runaway Love. Okay, so he ran away from you, or did you run away from him?
I ran away from him.
Okay.
Cool. Oh wow.
Well, I hope it ended well for you in the end. Anyway, I won't go any further than that. I might get myself in problems. But that was Runaway Love, Barry White. What kind of memories does that bring back for you? Because that would have been, again, one of the main tunes back in the day as well.
That's not it.
Feel good factor tune, happy tune.
It was a long ass tune too, wasn't it?
A very long tune. Trust me.
I tell you what though, it was one of them tunes that I think it went on a bit too long. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's one of those tunes that I think that if the selector's playing it, he should slice it. You know what I mean? Don't let go all the way
to the paper.
Yeah.
It's about 8 minutes long, isn't it? It's about 8 minutes.
Yeah, but a lot of the old records.
Yeah, good tune though. Good tune though. Yeah, it's a party music for me.
Yeah.
To me, it had more of a disco feel to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like recording on that disco.
Would you classify it Nicky as rare group?
Yeah, right. Is it rare group? Well, by definition, I suppose it was, but it just had more of a disco feel to it than.
And your last one on the list, Tasha, which is quite. I was kind of when I saw it, I raised an eyebrow. Good tune. Norman Connors, Melancholy Fire.
Wow.
Big tune.
That wasn't one.
So how did that one get in your collection?
Heard it once and just absolutely fell in love with it. It's just proper. That's all I can say. It kind of hit the soul. And I can play it 10, 20 times for the day. It wouldn't be a problem. It's absolutely idyllic.
So, Tash, did you find it hard picking 5 songs? How hard did you find it?
Not at all. I picked them like within 10 minutes because I play music every day in my house. Like, the neighbours are actually fed up of me.
Have you tried streaming live? Have you tried going on live and streaming yet?
No, not properly. I mess about on the silly Facebook and that when I'm ready, but no, I haven't gone into it sort of properly.
Okay, so you don't go clubbing at all then, Tasha?
Yeah, I do, but because of circumstances, I haven't really been going out as much. But hopefully, when this is all lifted.
So, if you was to go out, would you go out to listen to this music, or would you just go clubbing per se, or would you go to some of the rare groove theme nights?
I like mixtures, you know. I couldn't. To be honest, I'm going to be honest. I couldn't go out and listen to rare groove all night. It'd have to be mixed up.
No, you couldn't do that.
No. I'm just being honest.
Oh well, that's Rare Groove Legends out of it.
Well, am I getting kicked out now?
No.
You got to be 100% dedicated to Rare Groove.
No, ask for Rare Groove Legends then.
No, I'm dedicated. But I'm saying if I'm going on a night out, it'd have to be mixed up. You asked me what would I do if I was to go out on a night out. On a night out, it would have to be mixed up.
Cool. Right, well, you can stay with us for a bit. Right, so let's get back to...
Am I allowed to stay?
Yes, we're going to allow you to stay because you are the best dressed person on this podcast.
And I've got some fire water as well.
Barry
will definitely be reaching across for some of that. Right, lads, so let's get back to it. Tricky Nicky, Matt Covington, We Got One.
Bruh.
It's a massive tune. Was very popular. Quite a rare tune as well to source. Still is quite rare. I'm gonna go with an influencer because that kind of pick the level up again of the stepper kind of soul, steppers kind of rare groove. Yeah.
Reggie?
For me, mass popularity. You just can't beat that. Dun, 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 dun.
That right? You got that right?
You know that one, Reggie.
Just can't beat
it. That's five. That's 5 from Reggie. Yeah. Tasha, we ain't gonna score you because it'll muck up our scoring we've done before. But what would you give that? What marks out of 5 would you give that record?
I'd give it an 8.
Out of 5. Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
I thought you meant out of 10. Still give it an 8. Give it an 8.
All right. No, all right. Out of 10, then you give it. Okay. You can have your own scoring. That's fine. As long as we stick to the pattern, we're right. Paul Cannibal, We Got One.
Nicky, I quite agree. It was it's both in it, influencer and the mass popular. It was just a tune that just rocked. You know what I mean? And sure that chorus as well, as Reggie said, it changes us. And you just went in there. You had to go emotionally with that. So yeah, definitely a popular tune. Mass.
Fine. I'm going to give it a 5 as well. I tried to get that tune. I could not afford it, so I had to go and raw. But I'm just saying, everybody had a bootleg in their box.
Actually, do you know where it was released on Expansion? If I remember
right. Only for you, Reggie.
Yeah.
So he said that it wasn't released on Expansion then, was it? Is that what you're getting at?
It was, but...
It was!
Okay.
We've got the authentic one.
All right. Excuse me.
So what label was the authentic one on?
So I can't remember. White label.
Look at
White
that.
12.
Get out of me. See what I mean?
It wasn't expansions though.
Well, I know it wasn't.
What would you rate that?
Definitely got to give it. I'll give it 5. Maximum exposure. Emphasis. Everything that's Rare Groove. Again, that's one of the songs that hits the spot on the definition of Rare Groove.
And Reggie?
Yeah, I told you already.
Oh, you told me already.
Popularity, yeah.
Oh, so it's Barry then. So it's Barry. Sorry, Barry. Have I done Barry as well?
No, yeah.
No, so it's Barry. Sorry, mate.
Mass popularity.
5. Big tune.
Bloody hell. Do you know the 12-inch is going for about 60 quid?
What, on expansions?
On the original label, which was Hot Tracks.
Hot Tracks Records, that's right.
60 quid. I thought it would have been worth more than that.
Yeah.
And well, it was at the time. At the beginning, when people were searching for it, it was a $150.
Okay, right. So let's move it on. I'm going to ask you. Okay. Barry White, Magic Lady, Hold Tight, Don't Let Go, as we used to call it.
Boom tune. Boom.
Oh.
Boom, boom tune. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, Tasha. All right, Tasha. One second, I'm going to come to you in a minute. I'm going to come to you in a minute, Tash.
Yeah, but it's a boom tune.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just saying. Boom, 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 boom.
That white one's working well.
I'm going to go
Sorry.
Barry.
Good.
What's up, bro?
Influential. Sorry. Yeah, influential. That's a free.
Influential geezer.
Free. Thank you, sir. Reggie Styles, Hold Tight, Don't Let Go.
Yeah,
Hold Tight.
I'll go for influential as well. I'll definitely back that up.
That's a free. Canners.
Hold Tight. To me, commercial.
Commercial, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Didn't
is.
have that appeal to me. You dropped it and
It was
That's one of those songs that had all the girls
it
singing.
starts and it just dies to me. Hold tight. It kind of died to me. It didn't give me no oomph, to be honest, in that tune.
It's a ladies' song, Kenners.
I know, but it didn't give me nothing. So whether you say the ladies, nah, it didn't give me nothing. So I'd say, I'll go by the bar. Play me the other tune.
Tricky nigga.
Time to go to
Tricky.
the bar.
I'll go by the bar. Play me the other tune. But to me,
Tricky.
that's valid for the ladies.
Tricky. Is the horse there with you as well?
Yeah, in the corner over there.
All right. So you'll pick it up later and bring him on. I want to see him again.
I'll put it out to pasture tomorrow.
So, what do you say about?
Mate, that's
Magic Lady.
A massive tune. Even now, if you play it today, it's got that warm, fuzzy feeling that the girls love. And as soon as they hear it, they start like looking around the room to see who's the eligible people that they could maybe have a little dance. So
no, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's right. I quite agree.
Tasha, I don't know what parties you're going to, but you come to our parties, Tasha.
Nah.
Anyway, I would give it an influencer. I'll say influencer.
Okay, that's great. So that's all the marks in. And Tasha, you like this tune anyway, don't you? Yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Good.
So my vote don't count, no?
Oh, no. Okay. Go on, East.
Well, I think on the Facebook messages are coming through thick and fast about this one. People are saying it's a ladies' anthem. It's time to go to the bar and the toilet tune.
Yeah.
What else we got here?
Trust me.
Boom, boom, boom tune. Definitely agree. What else we got there? Funny feeling. I don't know. Oh, it's really no. Well, I'm gonna give it a 3. It's an influential tune. That's the Rare Groove influential, so I'm giving it 3.
Cool, thank you. Right. Before I bring on my next guest, I've got one more to go. Our last guest will be coming in a second. youngster from Eternity. But before I do that, what about, I'm going to go to Tricky Nicky for this one. Randy Crawford, Endlessly.
Oh.
It's a massive tune.
That's a massive tune.
Massive tune, yeah.
You know, it's one of those heart-shaped tunes, but to me, it's a soul tune.
So you're not really too impressed with?
I don't think it belongs in the category.
It's borderline. It's borderline. It's a borderline tune.
It was played. It was played in the genre. Obviously, it was a big tune in all the dances, just like Aretha Franklin, "Daydreaming." You know, big tune, slow kind of anthems. But to me, it doesn't belong as a rare groove tune. It's a slow jab soul tune, if you like.
Okay, thank you. So you're gonna give it what kind of marks?
I will give it as longevity, because it's still
plays out.
Yeah, still plays. It still has that.
That's a 2. Reggie?
Yeah, I'll give it 1, mate. You could pick it up for 99p apparently on 7-inch.
Okay. Michael? Extender?
No, I've never thought about that song. It's a groove song. I think we're going to come back to that anyway.
I just need your marks, mate. I just need your marks.
Yeah, I'm going to give it.
Between 1 and 5.
Maximum exposure. 5.
Okay, Mr. Ray Groove Legend says. Canners?
As Nicky said, man, it's not a rare groove. It was a soul tune that come on 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock, get everybody together, yeah, mutually as partners. I will give it, long.
2. Harry White?
Longevity.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a longevity too. It was definitely just a rubber tune.
That's it. For those of us that could have robbed.
I didn't get to say what I thought.
I was going to go to you next, Tasha.
I don't think so.
I was.
How convenient.
Last but never least, go on.
Yeah, longevity.
Cool, thank you for that, Tasha. Right, too cool. We've got a guest in the thing, Michael, who's Reggie. Michael should be in our waiting room, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Shall we bring him up?
Yeah. Michael speaks. Michael, where is he? Basically, Michael.
Time to go.
Record collector, and stuff. He's about to go on air as well in a bit, so I appreciate him coming on. So we probably only got him for about 10 minutes or so. So, Michael, if you're there, please show yourself. And show us your video or audio or something if he's there. Oh, there we go. Michael!
Yeah?
How you doing? Can you hear us? Michael! Yeah, you got to turn your audio on, mate. Hello?
Yeah, you there, Michael?
Turn your audio on. All right, let's try and get him sorted.
Reggie.
Yeah.
There's more than one Michael there.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael speaks. We can't hear you. Press the connect audio or something. Connect audio.
So he's going on the radio in 5 minutes.
No, in 25 minutes. Oh, here we go. I think we got him coming.
Audio. Hey.
These old boys, you know. I'm only joking. Sorry, guys.
We seem to have lost Tash, but there you go.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Here he goes.
Can you hear?
I press
Hey.
some volume.
Michael,
Wow.
we can hear you now, sir. How you doing, sir? You all right? Just to give people...
Muchas gracias, senor. I'm okay. I'm all right.
All right,
This technology, man. Yeah. I'm an old man. Give me a break.
Okay. So just for people who don't know who Michael Speaks is, he is I call him the master mason of music. He does a radio show, and also he's a big collector of music. He sells people music as well. So Michael, you know, I had to get you on here because you always know literally what somebody was wearing when a particular record came out. You've put together a list. Can you just give us like 2 records that are on your list?
I would say I'm going to put on the 1975 album by Roy Ayers, Mystic Voyage, Life is But a Moment, Part 2. Reason why is here we are 45 years later and I can still play that track. I was impressed by that track because I was 15 at the time when it came out, 1975. So a good friend of mine lent it to me and I was able to put it on tape. So, and it's still a club dancer at the moment. I would say the other one, I'm going with my heart. Michael Henderson, Going Places, 1977, title track of the album. I mean, I could have gone Sir John Roberts, The Sophisticated Funk Orchestra, in 1979, Do You Believe, which went for over £100 a couple of weeks ago on eBay. But there's no point in trying to kill people. So, yeah, those are my 2.
That's a great selection, sir. And, you know, rare groove for you, what's your kind of like take on it? What's your definition of rare groove?
Well, as I said to you before, because I was out there clubbing from 1976 onwards, I thought rare groove was a record that was hard to get. Okay. I thought it was like a Donna McGee original 1978 Patrick Adams produced, which is going for 250, 300 pounds these days. That's what I thought it was. I didn't actually got into this rare groove thing till, I don't know, listening to a little bit of Norman and, you know, the rest of them.
Yeah. So does a record have to be rare? Rare groove?
That, as I said, that was my belief. You know, I've been educated by other people to think otherwise, but personally in myself, a rare groove record has to be something that is hard to find, very difficult to play, and in a soul vibe as well. It has got that soul feel as well.
Okay, so just another question, because we're pressed for time and I know you've got to go in there soon. What is the most expensive record that you've got in your collection?
Difficult.
Don't worry, we don't know where you live.
Maybe the sealed. Thank goodness for that, because I'm not at home. My daughter's living at my place at the moment. I'm elsewhere. I would say probably Herbie Hancock, maybe the Headhunters album original, or I'd say maybe the Bridge album, which was made in 1980 but never got released till 2020. I actually have by accident a sealed copy, which I never opened because I didn't think it was any good. Got the original Stella on there as well.
Wow.
Track was on the 79. Yeah, I would say a sealed copy of Bridge, which is about, I don't know, 200 quid, something like that.
Okay.
Wow. You know your stuff, Michael. You know your stuff, eh?
I told you. You guys are the cheat.
Listen,
So
you guys are doing it now, not me.
you still look young, sir. So, you know, just hold on there. I mean, you've been raving from 1975. What was your most iconic, or in your memory, what was the best rave party that you went to and that you heard, you know, you heard the DJs chucking down those rare groove tracks that you kind of been mentioning or you like to hear?
I would say for myself, maybe 1976, 77 Carnival was good, when they used to have soul sounds underneath the flyover. The best dancers in London, and I say in London, would come down there to battle on that particular day. Wow. And that was the bragging rights for kind of the next 5-6 months, you know? And I think that was the beauty of it. I would say on the rare groove side, I suppose in the genre you're putting it, is probably it being round, I don't know, Willesden, round Roundwood Park in Willesden, when a lot of the sounds used to turn up. And it's things like that. That's what I enjoyed, that period of time.
Oh, wicked. Wicked.
Like I said, there you go.
Michael, we have to definitely get you on a Set the Trend at some
properly,
point.
yeah, because we'd like to talk to you because you seem to have a lot of history that you could be.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
I'll take
Like
it.
that's why I call him the Master Mason.
I'll tell you about fashion. I'll tell you about the fashion, the dance, and I'll tell you about the records were played and the shops to get the best deals in the 70s.
Indeed.
Right,
Without
done.
a doubt.
We're having you on. We're having you
All
on,
right.
mate. We'll sort it out.
Hey, it's great
Thanks for
to be
taking
on.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Michael.
very much, guys.
Thanks a
Cheers,
lot.
Michael. Take care.
Roy, I tell you what, I like a man that knows his stuff. Ain't it, Michael Fontaine, eh?
Hey, there's a lot of stuff that he's talking about, but I'm not sure if they fit into the weird groove bracket that we're talking about. But that's a whole nother conversation.
So we can have that when he comes on Set the Trend, right? Okay.
Oh, most definitely. And I think the definition of real group, yes, headhunters, top man.
We'll play about with Tricky Nicky.
Tricky Nicky, not messing around. How much you want? I got 200 quid. You want it?
Can we get Louis Eternity up as well before we go back and finish off our rare groups? Louis Eternity, how are you, mate?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Now, many of you may know Louis Eternity from being around Sound Higher and Eternity Sound, playing music, but also about 4 years ago, was it about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I'm sure that he'll be specific on the dates when I hand it over. He decided to rejuvenate Rare Groove on the South Side because Rare Groove was a genre of music that we kind of stopped playing so much in the early 2000s going up, so it wasn't played as much. I know EastEnder will say that he had Giants of Rare Groove a couple of years before Lou brought the Rare Groove. What is your brand is called?
Rare Groove Cut Clash.
Rare Groove Cut Clash.
The Rare Groove Cut Flash. So
and vinyl edition as well, which is important to.
It's only vinyl. It's only
vinyl.
So what made you come up with that idea, Lou?
Okay, so just to clarify, the Rare Groove Cut Clash came before We Love Michael's Rare Groove Legends.
Giants of Rare Groove
Legends came out a year or two later. So Rare Groove Cut Clash.
Oh yeah. No, that's Rare Groove Legends, but he's going to tell you something else now.
I'm sure
I'm
he's.
not gonna.
But no,
Giants of Rare Groove. Giants of Rare Groove.
Giants of Rare Groove. Yeah, that's
before your thing. So
that's right. That's right. I stand corrected.
Cool.
But
thank you. No problem. Friends for life.
So 2014 was the first Rare Groove Cut Clash that I put on the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, there was a lot of obviously the DJs. You got the icons of Rare Groove, Desi G, Barry White, and those guys who were legends, as I say, in the business. And I'm one of those people who wanted to sort of like deal with the underdogs. Some of those DJs who necessarily weren't getting the airtime and the play out. I wanted to give them an opportunity to showcase their music, and I use the Rare Groove Cut Clash as a way of giving them the platform to showcase their music, and obviously do it with original vinyl. And that's why I decided to create the Rare Groove Cut Clash back then. And in all honesty, the first year, it kicked off, it blew up. I didn't know it was going to be as successful as it was, but it was. I think Tony T won the first year. The second year, who won the second year? I'm trying to remember who won the second year.
Sean P.
Sean P won the second, that's right. And the third year, Jude the Do's run. And I stopped it in 2017 and I went on to something slightly different. But that's really why I wanted to give people the opportunity to showcase their vinyl. And I think it kickstarted a number of events after that.
I think one of the important things about your event, a new set of Rare Groove records came out of it that wasn't being played.
That's right.
5 or 7 years ago. Do you know what? Can you just tell us a few of those records?
Yeah, I can tell you a few of those records. So what was played? Okay, Johnny Bristol, Strangers in the Jar.
That was played before though. That wasn't one of them, but yeah.
Carol Dion, I Need You.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, carry on.
Clausel, that was being played, I suppose, once or twice in some of the regular raves. Focal Point, I forgot the name of that tune. But there was yeah, that's right. There was quite a few tunes that were being played in my events that weren't being played on the circuit. And I think since that time, those tunes have been rejuvenated, and you hear a few people playing them now.
Youngster, I've got a question for you. Did
Sure.
anybody ever, at a bone of contention, turn up with a bootleg copy of a record and play at any of your Clash events?
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
because you only have original, so it has
Yes.
to be the original. It was pressed on.
Yeah. So the rules were it had to be an original 12 or 7. You couldn't play the best of albums, or compilation albums. They were not allowed.
No, but how did you judge that though?
How did we judge that? Well, considering you were one of the judges, Michael.
Oh, was I? Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
But so the question.
You don't want to be. Hey, you don't want to be that guy.
That's right.
I thought that from the chat room. I forgot about that. Beanie and Bounty. Sorry, go on. Go on.
No, that's all right. So the tune that was played, it was a bootleg. It was "Making Love," Lou Ragland.
That's my #1 record. Oh my God, in my list.
The thing is about that record is that it was bootlegged by a very good friend of mine many years ago, and he made it look like the original, very much like the original. And I think there are some people who bought the bootleg thinking it was the original, and it then transpired many years later when you look
a
at
high percentage of DJs.
Yep, a very high percentage.
Don't be afraid to say it.
I'm gonna own up. I've got a copy of the bootleg version.
I'm just trying to be diplomatic about it all. But the reality is there is a specific matrix number on the vinyl, and there's certain telltale signs on the label of the vinyl, which you can tell what is the bootleg and what is the original.
You lot go deep, don't you, down there? Cool.
Just a little bit. If you're going to do something, you've got to do it properly, Ray.
So what happens? So you've actually got someone checking the vinyl. Once it's played, someone checks it.
They have the judges have the authority to look at a record and check it if they feel they need to. And that's one of the rules that the contestants have to sign up to, and they have to agree to that, so there's no issues. Because I think the very first year, one of the DJs had an issue of someone looking at his record, and that's why we made it very clear.
Yeah, we've heard that before, haven't we? So when do you intend to bring that back, or don't you intend to bring you back? Is that a brand that you just leaving to the side now? Because you do revival as well, don't you? Which is the same thing, yeah.
The same thing. So basically, we moved on and did the revival reggae and Lovers Rock Cup Clash, and we've been doing that for the last 3 years. It was meant to happen this year, but due to COVID, coronavirus, obviously it didn't happen. But that's planned to go back on next year. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go back into the Rare Groove Cup Clash. There are many other Rare Groove events that people can go out and listen to, and I'm one of those. I like to leave things on a high rather than keep on doing something again and again and again until it fizzles out or it dies down. So I'll probably leave that to one side for now.
Okay. You're wrapping him up? Okay.
One of the collectors, Lorraine King, says, "Bring back the Clash."
There are a lot of...
She's very deep, that girl, isn't she?
She's a big collector.
Big collector, got her own show as well.
Absolutely. And she featured for the first time on the Rare Groove Cup Clash, I think in 2015. And I think since that time, she blew up.
So, Youngstar, before you go, because we've got to get these Rare Grooves done.
Sure.
Our top thing, your favourite Rare Grooves tune, your #1 is what?
My #1. To be honest, my #1 tune, I suppose it's going to have to be Smoke Sugar. I'm a winner.
I know why. Because he won a Clash. I know why he's going to say that.
Of course. Well, I have to say that because when I won the Rare Groove Cup Clash back in 2000,
you won a Clash as well?
20 years ago. The one that EastEnder never turned up on. Shh, don't say anything.
He was that guy. Yeah.
I think EastEnder was that guy that night.
He was bounty killer that night. Saw the police come and he headed.
And he headed out. So that's my #1. That's my #1 Rare Groove tune. Smoke Sugar, I'm a winner. And that was my final tune that I won the Rare Groove Cup Clash with.
And who did you beat, by the way?
Well,
it was that guy.
Those who were there know. Just type in Rare Groove Cup Clash into Google and you'll know all about it.
Lou, thank you very much for coming on. We've got to go.
No problem, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Sir.
Great
right,
show,
thanks
guys.
A lot. All right.
Nice one.
Thanks. Right, guys. Who was at the Rare Groove Club Clash in Tyson Street? Barry White, you must have been there.
Who won it? It wasn't it a tie?
That's what I heard.
Barry, Barry. Sometimes, Ray just tries to ask questions just to draw you in.
I'm not drawing him. I'm answering him because what many of us don't know, that was because we're in clashes. So I'm just making sure they know. One of the first rare group clashes that I knew was in Tyson Street. I think it was Richie Rich. Put that. Was it Richie
Yeah,
Rich?
I think it was Richie Rich.
And that was one of the biggest ones for our culture at the time. I mean, you're talking about probably 2,000 people was in Tyson Street to hear that. You guys wasn't part of it, so you was a bystander that day, if I remember rightly. I don't think you and Desi took part in that, or latest, but for whatever reason. But that dance, what do you remember about that dance, Barry?
You're trying to draw me now.
No, I have to go to the winners because we know it was Stu Gunn, it was ladies, it was a draw, but I'm not going into that. Why? I'm not going into why. What do you remember about that dance? What was that dance like? What was the vibes like in that dance?
The vibes was nice. It was a good rave, but you're talking about the one what ended up being a draw.
Yeah. Was there one before that?
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, it's that one. Yeah.
My memory's not 100%, mate.
Tyson Street. It was Tyson Street. It was that one. It was that one.
It was a good rave, right? I think the music was played was good, but if I'm correct on this that dance, I can't see how it was a draw. But who am I?
Look at the smile on his face.
Tricky Nicky, was you at that dance?
No, I wasn't there.
You wasn't there? Candace, was you there?
Can't help you. Well, who was supposed to win then?
EastEnder was there.
No, I wasn't. I was in New York.
You was in New York?
Yeah, I was away that weekend.
So who was supposed to have won then, Barry?
No, it was a draw. I don't know who was supposed to. Barry, do you want to answer that question, or shall we just take 5?
You said.
I think we should start whittling down these top 10 to top 5.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Otherwise, we'll be here for ages. Right. Right. What is one of the next tracks?
Well, a few of our guests said they were there, just reading the thread, but I think we leave that one for another day.
They can comment on it all day long if they want.
So we've got eight tracks so far, isn't it?
Right. Josie James, Win Your Love. Canners?
Ooh. I know.
Juicer. Where's the tune?
Is he still awake? Come on.
I'll do it. I'll do the singing.
Go on.
Till I win your love.
You look like here it comes. You look like you're having an orgasm there, Richie.
Be watching me in that way, mate.
No, he ain't playing it. No, we haven't got it there. I'm going to come back to you because he might find it and come back.
Go next time. Right.
Tricky Nicky, Win Your Love.
Yeah.
Josie James. Is that Rare Groove?
No.
Didn't really do too much for me, to be quite honest. I know people loved it, but I've got the tune and it's like it's okay, right? It's not. It's good, but it's not great for me.
Okay, cool.
So I would just say maybe commercial value at the time.
I'm just gonna say.
Wow, cool. Play. Let's have a.
Go on.
Let's have a 5 second.
Go on. Got it.
He ain't impressed with it. You don't seem impressed with that tune.
Nah. Commercial value to me. Every time they did, like you just said, it was like. You're one of those tunes that you wanted to end soon. Yeah, pulling the lips. That's to me how that tune come about. You just wanted it to end, and forget that. Forget that.
Okay, so, Barry White. Oh no, sorry. We do need your mark, Candace. Sorry.
Commercial value.
Yeah. Barry White.
Mate.
I'll go in there with 2. Longevity.
Reggie.
Definitely ain't a commercial value for me. That's the one. Yeah.
Thank you.
EastEnder.
I like that song actually.
Oh, he's always one.
I like that one. it's nice. I'll give it. You can get a 5 maximum exposure.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to remember this. You know, some of the Rare Groove audience came into it at a later stage.
Yeah.
So you know they're hearing that that's the pinnacle tune for some of them. I think you know we get a little bit technical because we've got a vast amount of songs around us, and you know I'm not saying the audience don't know all of them, but I think like if you come into it around 92, 93, that's like one of the peak songs.
I think you're on the promise, EastEnder.
Never gonna give up, not till I win your love.
Sorry, you're on a promise, mate. Go on.
It's not impressed, mate.
To me, it was like one of those songs, Ray, that was like just like God Sent Love of Keisha Jackson. But
It was a bubblegum. It's a bubblegum song, yeah?
yeah. It's okay. The girls loved it, but it's okay.
So we've got one more for the top 10. Lord have mercy.
Go on.
Did you give your marks, EastEnder?
I gave it 5.
He gave it 5.
What?
He went for it.
He definitely
gave
is on
it
promise. I think I'm going to go for a 1 as well. I mean, it was one for the moment, really. I don't. You know, it's a nice tune. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't one that really got me going so much. You know what I mean? So nah.
Next.
Right, our 10th tune. Before I go to our panelist tunes, and then and the producers will be. Oh, I've got to give. And then the producers will be topping it up and coming back with their marks. The last tune is, and this tune, Tricky Nicky.
Yes, sir.
Arnold Blair, Trying to Get Next to You.
That's big. That's big. That was one of the first kind of like big money tunes that was really going around at the time. You know, it was as rare as Rockin' Horse Poo, and you know you couldn't get it for love or money. Still a rare tune now. Still got commercial value. Goes for big bucks, and an iconic tune in the era, definitely.
Canners?
Yeah. That's a feelers all the way.
He comes up with some lyrics.
Hey, locker room banter. Changing room banter, mate.
Listen up. When you hear tune, like Barry said, the tune them felt you. You took the tune with feeling. Every time, any individual tune, you had a feeling for it. So when you had that feeling, you showed it. And that tune was a big tune. Trust me. Yeah. I'll rock with that tune. Yes.
So you're gonna mark it down as a
mass.
5.
I got 5.
Barry?
Yeah.
5.
Done.
Reggie?
I'm gonna go for exposure.
That's a 4. Okay. I'm gonna go for a 5 myself on that tune. I do definitely. That's one of the tunes that gets the party rocking most definitely. And it's a vibes man tune as well. You know what I mean? So yes. Rare Groove legend, EastEnder.
It's in my top 5. So yeah, I've got to give that a 5 without a shadow of a doubt.
God, 2 promises there, Easton.
it made my top 5.
You're making movements, mate. I tell you, you're doing well.
Right, Kano. So while they tot up the scores, So while they tot up the scores, your list. I was very interested to see that you had put in Greg Perry. Variety is a spice of life.
Yeah, I thought it.
That was a tune that early in the morning when we heard that tune. Variety, every lady, every man, 2-step, going along on the floor. It was a tune that just pulled up. You come outside, when you heard that tune, you'd run and say, and the man had to put his hand up and say, hold on. And you had to take it up. Because that was a tune that start, trust me. Variety. Yeah, it's a tune. I'll go give it all away.
Barry, you're smiling at that one. Barry, you're smiling at that one. Does that one bring back good memories for you, sir?
What? Lyrics on that one there, Barry.
It's not even that. It's the song's called Variety, Spice of Life. Yeah? And back then we were all young and we did like a lot of variety and spice. So I think it got us on that tip, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tricky.
I mean, I ain't gonna call no name. I ain't calling no name, but them man, they did like a bit of variety.
Tricky Nicky.
You know, that's one of those tunes, right? Just going back to Arnold Blair, I must admit, big tune, loved the tune at the time. But I don't play it anymore. I haven't played that for a few years because it kind of like starved you. It kind of wore out a little bit. But Variety is a Spice of Life. Still's got that feel-good factor to it. It's warm, you know.
It can play. Pull it up.
Yeah.
EastEnder, what does that tune do for you?
Variety Spice of Life?
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenneth.
Oh, mate.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, nice song. What's next? I'm waiting for the next song. When that comes on.
Is that what it is? Okay. No, but we've done the top 10. They're just doing up the point system. I'm just waiting for them to
There you go.
Tricky Nicky, I can't find your top 5 here. They should have sent it to me, but I can't see it.
No.
Give us one of your tracks that we haven't mentioned.
Someone mentioned Strangers in Dark Corners. I think might have been Michael Speaks, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. But
that was a youngster from Eternity that mentioned that.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah. That's one of mine. But I mean, if I was to name one, I've got so many, and I've probably, you know, people are sitting there listening probably and thinking, what are these guys talking about? What about this tune, that tune, that tune? There's so many. But
so
if
much.
I could say one that I love and it's just timeless for me is the Three Pieces. If only I could prove to you.
Connoisseur and selector. Reggie, I can't seem to find yours either. You give us one of your ones that haven't been mentioned that was in your top 5, please, mate.
Well, you already mentioned my number 1, which was Lou Rangland, Making Love. So I'll go to my number 2, which was, and this is a double header. I can't choose between the two. LTD, Love Ballad, or George Benson, Love Ballad. Any of the two.
I'll be LTD.
Any reason for that?
Why? Love Ballad.
Yeah.
Because it's just a record that invokes so much emotion from the beginning. I have never been in love. Come on, man.
Reggie, it's not LTD lovers everywhere.
No.
Okay. EastEnder, from your top 5, can you give me one that we haven't mentioned?
In my top 5, Roy Hudson, All Because of You. I think that's one of the songs, you know, when we define Real Groove and we talk about, you know, how it all started and where it's at, that's one of the songs that defines Real Groove. It tells us, you know, one of the main artists what we define as Real Groove, our definition of Real Groove. All Because of You. Cool. Essential.
Right. So we have the point scoring. We have our top 10 Rare Grooves. Set the Trend podcast anyway, because we know Facebook and YouTube, you're going to have your own list. You're going to have your own favorites. You're going to have your own records for whatever reason, whatever emotional reason, whatever reason you heard it out, you had fun, you used to dance, you used to, you know what I mean? Your auntie played it, your uncle might have played it, you might have been brought out to your big sis or your big bruv to these dances, and you've got your own. So so don't think that you can't put your own top 5, you know, even though we're gonna give you the top 10, we're gonna go through all of them now, and we're gonna give you the top 1. But you can put yours, so we'd like to see yours. So please keep on talking, keep on writing down your top 5. Let's see how different it is to our collective top 5. So whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube, thanks. Just keep on talking. Right.
Great.
So.
Great.
Yes.
Is that their top 5, the voting audience? Because
this is ours really, because we've scored it. So they might have their own. You know what I mean? But
okay.
Yeah, but we're gonna get down. So we're gonna go.
So it's based on their. It's just to clarify, Tricky. It's based on the submissions by people who set the trend.
Right.
Okay. Down
so
there.
yes. So these ain't our records. They submitted their records. So we're just going for our top 10 out of the records that they selected. Some of the music that didn't get mentioned while I'm here, and you lot might be interested in it. Parlay, What Wonderful One, Focal Point, Your Love Is, Keith Barrow, You Know You Want to Be Loved, The Emotions, You're the One, Side Effect, SOS, Love Smith, Shame on You, Osama Kitajama, Say You Will.
Yes, right. Pronounced
Leon
it
Ware,
right.
thank you. Leon Ware, Rocking You Eternally, Bar-Kays, Open Up Your Heart, Edna Wright, Oops, Here I Go Again, High Rhythm, On the Loose, Passion, Midnight Lovers, Side Effect, Midnight Lover, Edie, Make It Last, Yvonne Elliman, Love Me, Cliff Coutier, Love's Too Hot to Hide, Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, got in there. Gene Harris, Latin Funk Love Song, Herbert Law's Land of Passion, Love Unlimited, If You Want Me Say It.
If You Want Me Say It.
Bad tune, that got missed out on there.
Trust
Gap
me.
Band.
What about Jeffrey? Any Jeffrey in there?
Jeffrey, Love's Gonna Last was in there.
Vibrations?
No, Vibrations
Oh.
wasn't in there.
Shake It Up?
No, Shake It Up neither. Nature's Divine, I Just Can't Control Myself. Gene Terrell, How Can You Live Without Love, what was in there as well, got mentioned. Free and Easy, by Choice Reunion. O'Brien, Doing It Right. Billy Bobo, Coming Over Me. Archie Bell and the Drells, Don't Let Love Get You Down. And Frankie Beverly, Before I Let Go. I don't know if that's quite rare group.
I'm surprised the Bar-Kays, Feels Like I'm Falling in Love is not in there.
It's not in there. Neither. No. Spoiled isn't in there. No. Right.
Leeway Hudson.
So let's give the top 10. So I'm going to run it down from 10 to 1. And I'm going to give the points that we scored them at as well. At number 10, Josie James scored 11 points. Scoring 14 points at number 9 is Endlessly. Scoring at 16 points, coming in at number 7, that would be Magic Lady. Coming in at number 10, 9, 8, at 7, 19 points. No. 10, 9, 8, 7. Did I say Stephanie Mills? Stephanie Mills is 19 points, and that's at 10, 9, 8. That's at number 7.
Number 6, Stephanie Mills.
No. How can you tell me what I'm scoring at? So I'm going to tell you again. You're going to be that guy today, aren't you? Yeah? Josie James is at number 10. Endlessly is at number 9. Number 8 is Magic Lady, 16 points. Number 7 is Stephanie Mills with 19 points. With 19 points, at number 6 is Valentine Brothers. At 20 points is Jeff Lorber, Think Back and Remember. Number 4 with 21 points is Betty Wright. What track was that again?
Smother Me.
Smother Me. Top 3 now. And your top 3 consists of Arnold Blair, Maxi, Lover to Lover, and Max Covington. At number 3 with 26 points is Arnold Blair, trying to get next to you.
What?
At number 2 with 26 points, so there's a tie for 2, is Lover to Lover Maxi. Number 1 is Matt Covington with 30 points. So our top Red Groove tune is Matt Covington.
The silence. Why is there silence?
Tricky Nicky, do you agree with that? I mean, how does that sit? I mean, it's not if you agree with it or not, because you've got your own opinion. I mean, how does that top 3 sit with you? Matt Covington,
I think probably no. Only one of those tunes would make it into the top 10, I think, and that's Arnold Blair. The rest of them, they're okay, good tunes, but not your top 10, not for me.
But you know what this shows, though? It shows that the voting public themselves, their selection of records and their music and their tastes are so different to maybe us as DJs. Not every person who is a raver is a connoisseur. So, you know, hence why it's so commercial. And
Canners, how does that top three sit with you?
Don't be honest, and I'm just telling you, and like you mentioned Valentine, Brother and Lonely Nights, you mentioned Side Effects. I think, boy, as Nicky said, I probably one, as he said.
Which one would it have been, Kenneth? Which one?
Second one. Second one. Arnold Blair. But yeah. I don't know, everybody's ears are different, you know how it is. As individuals, you know, we play music, we play it. So listeners would obviously have their favorites and think, oh, I love that tune every time. But you know what I mean? We know as individual what tunes creates and gets reactions, and that's the tune that I'll be going to. You know, I'm just
reading off of YouTube, and some of the tunes that they've mentioned here that didn't make it. Haywood Tucker didn't make it onto it. They've mentioned Human Brief Encounter didn't make it onto it. Someone's mentioned Anime by Natalie Cole that didn't mention it onto it. Cleo Martin didn't make it onto it.
You know what? One of the records that hasn't made it, and you know, I'm surprised. It's Just Let Me Be Close to You by the Valentine Brothers.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You know, so that is like a staple rare groove.
Let me be close to you. What?
Okay. So how many of those top 10 tunes? How many of the top 10 tunes is bigger than You Can't Epicenter featuring Sandra Fever? You Can't Turn Me Away.
Yeah, you can't come up in here
no more.
Can't come
sorry, You Can't Come Up in Here No More. Or You Can't Turn Me Away, Sylvia Strickland.
That didn't get a shout. And that was one of the originals. One of the originals. Barry, how does that top three sit with you, sir?
Wow.
I'm amazed. But I think if you're a DJ, a collector, or you're in the music side of things, you look at things from a different perspective. If anything, you put things more under scrutiny. You don't look for your everyday, your regular type of music. You know what I mean? Ravers want to just hear a music that just pulls them in straight away. They could sing along, dance. But we look for different things in a music. I think that's why a lot of our top 5 ain't up there in the top 10.
Yeah.
So
I will say this.
So hold on. Yeah. So Barry, putting on your brotherly ears, and if Desi was with you now, and he saw that as a top 3, what do you think that Desi would say about that top 3?
And keep it clean.
No. First of all, I can't speak for him, but I do know him. I don't think he would say thumbs up with that top 3. Personally, I don't think he would. All right. Apart from Desi, right? I've got to say this and put it on record. Let me get this right. 1, 2, 3. I've got a big up EastEnder, yeah, because I've worked with EastEnder, yeah. I don't know what his view is because he ain't said it yet, but I don't think he would have it in his top 3. I've worked with Legs. I don't think he would have it in his top 3. And as you know, I do a stint currently now with Touch T. And I rate those guys, and I don't think they'll have all those 3 tunes in their top 3. I don't think so.
He said that if these top 3 played at Rare Groove Legends, are they favourites of Rare Groove Legends? And what would the reactions be to those 3 tunes played?
Yeah, if they were like at Rare Groove Legends, we play. It's an event that celebrates Rare Groove songs. If those 3 got played at our event, right time, take off the roof. But so would the other 99 records we played for the night. Rare Groove Legends is just an event that celebrates the Rare Groove culture. So I wouldn't say they wouldn't get played at that event. They would, but so would the others as well. And I can't wait for it to come back.
Reggie, can you tell me what the Facebook room's saying, please? Because they must be going off in there.
Going off in there. You got Deborah saying this is like Brexit all over again. Sandra says, Sandra says,
hold on a minute. Hold on. Has she got the right channel on?
Mate.
No disrespect, Deborah Brenda, but
Deborah says, Desi will cast.
TV done.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely crazy. Put it this way, a lot of, I mean, it's always going to be, and even though we talk about ravers and saying that, you know, some of them are commercial, I have to say there are a lot of people who maybe don't rave, like for instance Tasha, as regularly, who are collectors of music, and you know, it's always difficult because everybody's taste is different when you buy in music in different stages of your life, because music influences us in such a different way depending on what we're going on in our life. Sometimes if we're in a sad time, a record would appeal to us for a particular moment for a particular reason.
And I just want to clear up something, because someone said clearly Peach didn't just select regular music, someone selected those 10 from 9. So what we did, we have a poll on our page, Set the Trend Podcast. If you're not following the page, then you may not have got the alert. So you know, if you follow the page, then you get the alert. If you follow, it was on my page, certainly. I think, Eastender, did you post it on your page?
Yeah, it's on all the pages.
It's on all the pages.
Yeah.
So out of the poll and the submission of people putting it in, there was 91 tunes. Some of them obviously got submitted more than once. And those were the ones, those top 10 tunes were the ones that got submitted more than once. So that's how we came to the conclusion that otherwise we had to pick a criteria. Otherwise we could have been here all blinking night talking about Rare Groove and which is a top 5, which is a top 10, and how should we select them. So that was one of the fairest way that we thought we'd do it. And it was out of what you submitted, the public, not our submissions at all. What we talked about, our own personal likes, you know, it didn't get submitted into those categories. So we were just talking about songs that was our favorites. So I just
Are we going to continue the conversation in the chat room after the show?
What, on Facebook? I ain't going in there with them. Look at them. No. They're kicking off.
I'm gonna go in there.
They're kicking off.
I'm gonna go in there, and Reggie's gonna come in there too.
No, mate. Somebody's just posted a meme of an explosion. No way, mate. It's not for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're saying that George Benson is Rare Groove, and that's one of the comments in the chat room that it's not Rare Groove. Love Ballad ain't Rare Groove.
All right.
And Neva is George Howard. I'm sorry. Shower you with love.
Shower you love.
No.
Why'd you say it's not Rare Groove?
But it's not a record.
It's a soul tune. It's a 90, 90, was it 91, 90? No,
it's a soul tune.
It's a soul tune. It's a jazz tune if we have it in its right genre.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter if it's a jazz tune.
But it's not a Rare Groove tune.
But it's not a Rare Groove tune.
But Ramsey Lewis is jazz, so it doesn't matter if it's jazz or not.
Basilica. That's a Rare Groove tune, and that's what was made in the 70s. Eh? It's jazz. No, I'm saying you're saying that it's not a soul tune. It's a Rare Groove tune. It's strictly a jazz tune, but it would just like Tom Rainier. Tom Rainier, I Miss You.
But you shut down George Howard because it was jazz.
No, I didn't. Not because it was jazz. I'm just telling you. One of
the points was that it was jazz.
No, I've just said to you to give it its correct genre. It's jazz, but it doesn't qualify as a Rare Groove tune, in my opinion.
Because of the genre or because of the year?
Just because of the year, and it's a song
to correct. Now, why does it stop at 91?
The year.
Yes.
It's
91.
Well, because it's just like we had a conversation about Misha Paris. It's a soul tune. It's not a Rare Groove tune. It was widely available, right?
When you say it's a soul tune, all the songs are soul tunes.
Oh, I'll tell you something.
No, I'm just saying all the songs are soul.
Yes. They all soul.
So and look, we're not having an argument.
That's a two-step. It's like a two-step tune then. You know, you have two-step, you have boogie,
again.
you have rear groove. There's a two-step.
When we have these conversations about rear groove, and people say, "Oh, it's a two-step, or it's a this, or it's that," right? It's irrelevant that it's a two-step or it's a 90s tune. Why do we put a stop on it? 90 something or 91 or 92. Why do we do that? And who says it stops at that time?
Why don't we say some of the independent soul that are rare now are real?
No. Let's not answer a question with a question. Let's answer the question and then ask me the question after that.
What's the question?
Why do we stop it at a certain year? 92. Why do we stop it at? No, for example, George Howard is a 90s tune. Why doesn't that we classify that as a rare groove?
Well, for one thing, it wasn't rare.
So rare groove.
You didn't hear it everywhere.
No. One second. Rare groove.
You could pick that up in our price.
Yeah, but so could.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but you never hear it. It could be in our price, but you never. When you went out, you didn't hear it everywhere. If you went out clubbing, you never hear it.
No, but it wasn't rare. I mean, everyone.
No. But see, when we say rare, yeah. Now you're saying it as price of the record and the availability.
No, what is the definition of rare? It's something that's hard to get.
No. I personally don't think it's all about hard to get.
Rare is not readily available. It's rare. Otherwise, it would be popular.
No. I take your point. I take your point. Rare is hard to get, yeah. But you can have certain tunes. Certain DJs have got certain tunes, and they're not playing it. And then a DJ is playing it. That means that DJ who's got that tune, the others got it, but they're not playing it. So he's playing a rare tune because the others ain't playing it.
Hold on.
You don't hear it. Listen, there's a lot of DJs. Firstly, there's a lot of DJs got a tune that the next man's got. Yeah.
I'm cheering.
What's wrong with a lot of them is a lot of them ain't brave enough to play it.
And I take that point, Barry. I take that point, but because they're not playing, it doesn't make it rare. Rare if it
depends. No, sorry. By definition. No. By definition.
Let's stop here. Stop. Hold on.
Yeah.
One voice at a time. Now, Canners, go on.
In my view,
I know we can go on all through and which is rare and what's not rare. Don't get me wrong. It is going on late. I think we've come up with a top 10. No cutting nobody, but I would like to go and drink me grey tea, if you don't mind. I need me grey tea. It's about
all I want to say.
Yeah, I hear you extend that, and I do hear you. But there's so much music, whether it's counted for rare groove from to soul, it's still played. All DJ will still play. So there's no counteracts.
All I'm saying is that sometimes the records that we're referring to don't get played regular. Don't get played regular on BBC Radio. It doesn't get played in the clubs. The only place you can hear it
when you go
in the house dances, the blues dances, what we all grew up on. Now that's take that into consideration. It's rare places that you can hear those sounds because you can't hear it anywhere else. So, I'm not saying
really heard. It's really heard, but not rare.
Right, so he stop. Please stop. Kana stop. Tricky Nicky stop. Last word to Barry White, and then we gotta go. Barry, last word, please, as the Godfather. Last word. You were saying?
All I'm saying is, I do understand the fact that it might be easy to be obtained, like in our price records or whatsoever, but it is a case that there are lots of tunes that are rarely played. It depends.
Undervalued. Undervalued.
Yeah.
It comes into
right. Cool. So stop there.
Continue the conversation.
No. You can continue it in the chat room. This is fiery. I love this.
I'm up for it.
Now, I've got to just thank our guest before I close the show. I've got to thank our guest, Tricky Nicky. It's been a pleasure having you on, sir. You're one of the nicest guys. One of the nicest guys out there, and he plays good tunes.
So nice. So nice.
Boring, man.
Are you gonna?
Thanks for coming on, Tricky.
Tricky.
Thank you very
First
much.
of all, and Nicky, one just before you go.
Yeah.
In the revival competition, I'm rooting for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I am as well. Well done.
Cheers.
Paul Cannaville, Black and Blue. Thank you for coming out and still being a part of the culture. It's always great having you. Hopefully, you're going to come and set the trend because we want to hear your story. And that will be once we finish all this COVID nonsense. We hope you'll accept our invitation, man.
Paul, big up on the foundation, sir. Hopefully,
thank you.
I'll get to play on your golf day. You doing one this year? I'm a big golfer.
I like that.
I missed out on it.
Love to mention, man. I most definitely take my number. Get my number from Ray. And so if you can play golf, I know.
What's your handicap, Reggie?
16.
We don't play with handicaps. We play with golf clubs. Hey, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Caleb. And of course, the Godfather, the last. I keep telling him, and I keep telling people they need to treasure Barry White because he is he is from. If you're talking about the culture from the 80s, he is representing that for 3 decades up until now. He's still here. He's still standing. He's still chatting lyrics. He's still making sense when he's not had a tipple or two. And it's always and you're definitely one of the foundations, and it's always a pleasure to hear you, mate. Thank you for coming on Set the Trend.
Salute to you, sir. Salute to you. Definitely.
On respect.
Yeah. Respect.
And we've also put out an invitation for you and Desi to come on Set the Trend. So we hope you'll consider the invite. And we'll see you soon. Where's he gone now? What is that a sign? He's gone. Right. So thanks a lot. Thank you to the people who have been involved in it, in the chat room, in the Facebook chat room, writing. For those who submitted their top 5, thank you very much. For those who was in the poll, thank you very much for that as well.
Can we also give a shout out to Tash?
Oh, I was going to go to those other guests in a minute.
Sorry, I thought.
Shout out to YouTubers, those on YouTube who are there, who have been commenting as well. We see your comments. Thank you very much. Thank you to Michael Speaks. Again, another Rare Groove connoisseur. Hopefully he'll be coming onto the show. Thank you to Tash Million for her list and her white rum. And the brightness and the style that she brought also on to Set the Trend. And also thank you to Luke Youngstar as well from Eternity Sound, who also came on there from Rare Groove Clash as well. That was a fiery one.
Yeah.
And we really enjoyed that.
And don't forget it's Canners, not Caners.
Canners.
Canners.
I call him Caners Canners.
You don't want to be that guy.
Isn't it? Wait, just before you go, actually, yeah, great thing for the culture at the weekend, Beanie versus Bounty. Excellent, right?
I didn't hear it. I caught it on the catch up and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, for me, the weekend was very busy as usual because, as you know, we do the Saturday and Sunday show, and we do the Saturday and Sunday Breakfast Blues, which we're on again this Saturday and Sunday. You can catch us from 8 till 11. And last week, I was in great and knowledgeable company last week, Sunday. The after lockdown, it was a talk on the coronavirus and the pandemic and like after the lockdown, and we had some esteemed guests. So hour and a half it was, and some of the guests, Reverend Al Sharpton, if you know him, he is one of the original Black freedom fighters. Professor Lumumba, he's one of the greatest minds from Africa. You need to go and hear some of what he's talking about as well. and some people from Brazil, some people from the Caribbean. We had guests from further in Africa to talking about, as well as London, David McQueen, Jermaine Jackman, Izzy Obeng, and that was all hosted by Black Sox. So big up yourself, and don't forget Lord Simon Woolley was part of that as well, and that was an interesting conversation that we had. East, what did you get up to on the weekend, and what are you going to get up to this weekend?
Saturday was the funeral of Miss Betty Wright, so I was watching that for 3 hours via satellite. And Saturday, Sunday, what did we do? Apart from listening to the Breakfast Blues, that was it. And then, of course, you can. I was on Facebook Live yesterday playing a couple of grooves, couple of songs
with your producer Miles as well. So
with my producer, star producer.
That's right. So big it up, Reggie.
Me. I was just.
Yeah, you. I want Reggie here.
So I had my radio show, and that's it, really. I got to big up Hawks, who did a 40-day fast, and then afterwards a 5K run, raising money. As we were talking about, stuff for the community, this guy's doing a lot for the community at the moment. He's been raising money for his charity, Child of God Online. And so I spoke to him on my show at the weekend. Forthcoming, just basically doing what I do, really, innit?
Right. Next week, and I'm saving the best to last, so don't worry. Next week we have a podcast where we're looking at some of the DJs who online have been making the best of what they do for the public over the last 6 weeks. So we were talking to DJ Milk Tray, who will be in the building, and he's the guy who's been doing some lives, and he's been doing his Sunday service and DJ service, and he's been on the radio. So we'll be talking to him next week, Wednesday, in here. We'll be talking to Big Business. Will be up here, and as you know, they've been doing their own thing, their own Zoom parties, their own Zoom weekends, and all kind of sorts. They will be up in the building next week as well. There's a few more guests we've got to confirm, but yes, we cannot wait until that. So that's next week, Wednesday at 9 p.m. live. We'll be in the building. Set the Trend podcast live on Facebook. Go and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then you know always what's going on. We also talk to some of the greats of our culture, and we interview some of the greats of our culture about their time in our culture, coming through the culture from Rare Groove up. And we've got some great interviews on the YouTube podcast page. So go to it, Set the Trend podcast, and you can see some of the great icons, some of the great legends of our industry. They're in there. We've got some more to come. We've got interviews coming in the next few weeks with GQ from Viber. We've got Juxi Juice, Frankie Beverly, and Polito Don. All three of them on one podcast coming soon.
It's going to be huge.
And also from West London, East Ender, Ladbroke Grove, your favourite sound?
Oh, I think what, latest edition?
No, podcast.
Fresh Clue?
Oh, Fresh Beat.
Fresh Beat will be in the building as well. So we've got those 3 podcasts to come, and also one with Special Touch coming out in June.
Did you mention Ray Paul, yeah?
Ray Paul is coming out as well, yeah. Ray Paul from formerly of BBC One Extra, we will be talking to him. So that's it for now. But before we go, we have to big up our backroom staff, because this would not be possible without them. So big up Touch T from The Spot. Thank you for, The Spot is our partner broadcaster, so enough respect to The Spot and Touch T. Also to our producers, Jide and also Jay Nelson. Thank you for being part of this as well. Thank you very much for helping us bring it together. Controversial subject, as we do. We don't do nothing that is straightforward. Everything's got to be controversial around here. Your top 10 Rare Groove tunes, and the top 5. Matt Covington at number 1, Maxi and Arnold Blair tying at number 2, Betty Wright at number 4, and Jeff Lorber at number 5. Smother Me, Betty Wright, Jeff Lorber, Think Back and Remember, Arnold Blair, Trying to Get Next to You, Maxi, Lover to Lover, Matt Covington. You're on 1?
We got 1.
We got 1. And you're on 1. You were on 1 even. This is Set the Trend podcast. Love, stay safe, stay happy, Big shout out to our NHS workers and our care workers working on the front line. Of course, always got maximum respect and got to big you up 24/7, saving lives. We're out of here and we'll see you next week, Wednesday on Set the Trend podcast. Keep the chat going in the chat room on Facebook. They're still cussing in there right now. And you two are going to jump in there. I'm not, because I don't know why they always pick on the red guy. And big respect to those on Facebook, as well, those on YouTube channel, Set the Trend podcast. Go and subscribe to our channel. All our interviews come out on there first. I think that's it, innit, lads? So,
yep.
See you next week. Later.
Thank you.
I'm gonna love you, yeah, yeah. Ain't gonna never do you no wrong. Forever, you and me. my time. Always wind up with you on my mind.
Imagine us checking each other out, trying to find out what love is all about.
While others take love simply what it's worth, I think we can find heaven here on earth.
Mechanical body, that's what you got. It's like 100,000 kilowatts moving in and out. You can love forever and never get tired. And it's so unreal, babe, what I feel inside. Computerized and hypnotized. Words won't explain the way I feel, and I have a hunger, baby, that only you can fulfill. There's no love problem that you can't solve, and when my love comes down, you do your job, and only you can fulfill the need inside that you started with your mechanical body and computerized mind. You're so rare, babe. You're one of a kind. Mechanical body and computerized mind. You're so rare, babe. Rare, babe. Rare, babe.
I'm tripping out. I'm tripping out over you, babe. Over you, babe. I'm tripping out. I'm tripping out over you, babe. Over you. Each day I'm not with you is like a day without sunshine. You become a part of me. Ooh, you're not like other girls, or is it my imagination? This pounding in my heart, girl, is all because of you. You got me tripping out. Tripping out over you, babe. Over you. Little ma, little ma, little ma.
more than anything you heard about. I'm gonna love you more than any day and any night with us together. Together, I'm gonna love you more. I'm gonna love you more than anything you heard about. I'm gonna love you more than any day and any night with us together. Together, I'm gonna love you more. say, fellas, I'm not going out with you guys tonight. I've got something else to do. You really want to know? Oh, I'm stepping out 'cause I'm happy. I'm stepping out tonight. Oh, I'm stepping out with my baby 'cause she makes everything alright. I've got my tuxedo on. My shoes are shined to a T. And oh, I'm so happy 'cause I know my baby loves me, loves me, loves me. Who are you? Where's your man? Are you real? Can I touch you? All you can. Would you be my lady for a lifetime? Is a song I want to fill the air, giving you all my understanding. In my sweet, tender loving care. Ooh, be my lady, be my baby, be my lady. Drive me crazy, be my sweetness, my completeness, be my lover. There's no other. Be my lady, be my baby, be my lady. Drive me crazy, be my sweetness, my completeness, be my lover. There's no other.
Baby, close your eyes and start imagining just what you want me to be. Ooh, lady, hold me close and let your mind be free, and you will think of me. I will be your star. Let your mind be free, and I'm gonna be your star. Yeah. I will be your star.
lot of fun. You and I, sounds like it ought to be one good love affair. You and I, sounds like the right combination. You and I, sounds like a good creation, baby, for a love affair.
Baby, your love for me, it sure is different. So different. This wonderful love you give me sure is different.
Of my mind, I can't work, I can't sleep.
sugar, sugar. Oh, baby, give me, well, give me some of that old love. Yeah, yeah. Oh, let me make you feel fine. 'Cause loving you just blows my mind. Yeah, love I feel for you, girl, is true. So
I'm not ready to let you go. Come on back, baby. I'm not ready to let you go. No. Imaginary playmates. Imaginary playmates. Imaginary playmates.
imaginary. Sometimes I feel like there's no use in trying. Why can't I face the fact we've lost what we'll never get back? I don't know where did we go wrong? I say I'm leaving, but my feelings are too strong. And baby, you know, I'm in love, baby, so in love with you, darling. And I'll never be leaving, girl, I'm just make believing. I'm in love, darling, so in love with you, baby. When I say I'm leaving, girl, I'm just make believing. I ain't going nowhere. No, baby, I ain't going nowhere. Oh, darling, talk to your mama, Feels like I've known you a real long time. Might be deja vu, might be the wine. I came here with no plans to stay. Looks like we got carried away. It's almost daylight. Where did the time go? It's almost daylight. passing close to you in the dark. Lost my train of thought, I've lost my heart. Time to open those dreamy eyes. Looks like we got caught by surprise. It's almost daylight. Where did the time go? Where did the time go? Where did the time go?
Ever since I had your love, it's been moving me around. Beautiful feeling makes me high. Maybe love won't let me down. Small wonder you would hesitate to lay your love on me. What a sensation, I can tell just how happy we could be. I gotta get the best of you. I gotta get the best of you now, baby. I gotta get the best of you, best of you, best of you.
never stop giving. People, if you can imagine where I'm coming from, you'll understand why I say that first love is on the one. First love, more woman than a dream of.
of you that I can learn in one lifetime. Boy, you're all I ever think about. You are my sunshine. With you. No doubt in my mind, I made a mistake, but all the same, ooh, what a shame. Nothing could make it right, nothing could justify where love has gone wrong. Oh, baby, let me say life is a passing by. And I must say goodbye. Think of me nicely. Don't wander astray. What was meant to be, I can't change. Yeah, baby. Life has dealt a real good hand. Many times I wish I could be friend with baby, but I've got to be me. No matter what will be, pardon hasn't been easy. Now, let me say that life is a passing by, and I must say goodbye. Think of me nicely, don't wander astray. What was meant to be can't change. Hey, baby.
Together to give